everybody, welcome to another grilling video, and it is the first week in November, and down here in Southwest Florida that still means shorts and a t-shirt, but it also means we start thinking of fall flavors because we are considering what we're cooking on Thanksgiving. So I want to show you an awesome side dish that you can do certainly for Thanksgiving, but honestly it's good in any of the winter months when you can get good squash. So we're going to be doing butternut squash, smoked and roasted out on the grill. See you in a minute. So let's go ahead and get our smoker kicked on. I'm using apple wood pellets, but frankly you can use anything. This doesn't cook long enough that it's going to get a ton of that flavor. We're just going to kick it onto the smoke mode, let it get up to smoking, and then we're going to crank it up to 250 to 275 degrees. That's the way I like to do these. All right, let's talk about the ingredients while that comes up to temperature. We're just going to be using butternut squash. We're just going to be doing one today. You can certainly add a few more if you're doing this for a larger group. I like to do this with a little bit of cinnamon and brown sugar, and we just need some good old olive oil to help season this. It's that simple. Those are the ingredients. Let's show you how to prep them. Now what we want to do is we want to cut this directly in half so we can scoop out the seeds in there, and we're going to open it up and just roast it. Now I like to cut the stem off. It just makes it a little bit easier for this whole thing to do, but I do like to try and keep it a little bit square. Just going to go ahead and get that chopped right off of there. And now with it stood up, we're just going to work this right down the middle here. I find this to be the easiest way to break these, and it kind of gets you going in a nice even half and half there. Now we end up with our two halves. It's exactly what we're looking for. And this really is pretty easy. We're just going to get a little paper towel there to put these in, and then what we want to do is just carve into this with your spoon. And I'm just using a standard tablespoon. This is not rocket science here for sure. I like to do this to where I'm cutting into it almost a little bit like you're taking out a pumpkin seed. It reminds me a lot of that. There you go. It's that simple. I mean, it is a winter squash, so not very different than a pumpkin. And we just have it nice and clean, just like that. You'll notice I kind of take this here and I carve in the sides a little bit, just a little bit bigger than that circle. Come all the way around. Same thing there, and scoop under it. After that first pass, you'll know how close you are to getting it all. See, in this case, and I didn't get it all for sure. So I'm just going to dig a little deeper now. And scrape that right out of there. There you go. Nice and clean, just like that. All right, the initial white smoke has burned off of this. I'm now going to crank it up to 250 degrees in my particular case. We might go 275 on this, we're not sure yet. And once we get these in the smoker, we're going to put them on a tray, and we want a little bit of that smoke flavor to impart in there. We also want some of our seasoning, our brown sugar and our cinnamon, to get down in there. Because this is such a dense sort of squash, the easiest thing to do on this is we want to sort of run a few angled cuts through here. I don't know, maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. We want to do this, I like doing it in a crisscross pattern just so I think it looks kind of nice when it opens up after as it's cooking. And you might be able to see the lines on this one I already cut. I'm going to move that aside, and I'll just show you what I was doing on this. So again, we're going to go at a nice angle here. Just running that knife right down in there across the squash. That's it. You really don't have to do it over this opening, just because you're going to get pretty deep penetration in there anyway. Let's go on this side.
Over here. Yeah, right here. Hey, do me a favor. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more like it, subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Thanks.
Well, as a left-handed guy, it gets a little hard to hold that. I'm going to cut right-handed here. Gosh, for being ambidextrous, huh? All right, that nice crisscross pattern in there. See that? That will allow us to get all that oil and seasoning down in it as this begins to soften and open up. So the seasoning's really pretty easy on this. First thing we're going to do, just go with a little bit of olive oil on here. And we want to rub that olive oil right in there. Now I like to sprinkle a little bit of the cinnamon on here first. Now not cinnamon sugar, I'm just using straight cinnamon. And not a lot of it. Just think a little bit of that flavor goes a long way with this. Now you can use cinnamon sugar if you want. I actually like the way brown sugar sort of crystallizes on here. So I'm going to go do about a tablespoon on each side of this and just sprinkle it on here. Depending on your size, it may be a little bit less, maybe a teaspoon and a half. Just gonna kind of rub that across here so it's all across that top. So as those things begin to open up and it gets juicy, that flows down into those slits we put. Put this right on our tray. Actually go a little bit more on there. There we go. Now we can sprinkle some of this cinnamon on here, nice and light all the way across there. And 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of brown sugar, just sprinkled across here and then rubbed in. Now let's just get this sort of spread across here and nice and caramelized on there, and as that moisture opens this up, that'll just coat all down in those grooves and get down inside of this. Good stuff. All right, with that, we're gonna put our second squash right down here on the tray. We'll go ahead and put this in the smoker at 250 degrees. All right, as you can see, we are right here at about 260 degrees. Let's open this up, and we're gonna put this on a tray, because it's easier to pick these up afterwards that way. We're just gonna slide them right in here on that top shelf. I like to leave it up just a little bit to kind of help hold them level. Let those go probably for anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour and a half until fork tender. So I always talk about the importance of cooking temperature versus time. This is one of those where you're really not going to take a thermometer and do the internal temperature of this squash. What we do want to do is you want to make sure that it's nice and soft, fork tender. So we'll come out and we'll check it, I don't know, probably every 10 minutes or so after it's been on for about 35 to 45 minutes. That's sort of the first time I'll check it. My guess is they're going to take somewhere between an hour and a quarter and an hour and a half, maybe something like that. So we'll clean this up and we'll come check it out in a little bit. We'll show you what it looks like each time we check. This is after 30 minutes and that is still very hard, so we will let this keep on going. All right, I just opened this up. It's been going for about an hour. You can sort of see now how it's starting to get little gaps in here, which is great. Brown sugar ought to be going down in there a little bit more. But these guys are still very hard, so I'm going to show you what I mean. You can see how see the crisscrosses there? Looks pretty good. But that definitely needs to cook a little longer. I might put this up at temperature just a little bit and go from 250 to 300. All right, so this has been a full 2 hours later. Let me just go ahead and pull it out. We'll set it up here and show you what it looks like. That's exactly what we're looking to see right there, nice and tender. And this is what it looks like. We'll just take some of this nice butter, oil, and brown sugar and cinnamon, just scoop it right in there. Same with this one. It pools nicely in these little cups here. It just looks amazing as you baste it in there with some of that butter and cinnamon there. So let's just grab a little bite of this and see. Love that. Pulls right out, little squares. Wow, that is hot, but unbelievably flavorful. Butternut squash has a nice sweet flavor anyway. Add a little bit of that brown sugar and cinnamon to the top. It's to die for. I love the fact that you can just scoop it right out of there. I tell you, this is a Thanksgiving side dish that's really fun to do. And you can put this on a platter and serve it right on the table and let people just take a spoon and sort of cut their own right out of this, like scoop it right out of the actual squash. Then you just get somebody to, scoop in a mouthful of this stuff just like that. It's a fun way to serve it. Or you can just take a spoon, push it right down in here, scoop around, and just pull all of that delicious squash meat right out of there. And you can scrape it right down to the actual skin. Look at that. Absolutely delicious. You guys will have to give this one a try. Bye now. Safe and happy grilling. Oh good, you're still here. Hey listen, if you like this video, check out this one of all of our other smoking recipes, and down here, another good one just for you. Bye now.